The Republicans and the Democrats in the House and in the Senate, none of them want to give up the system.
Tonight you'll see someone sleeping in that shelter there where you catch the bus. That's how they survive the night.
Yeah, who are they going to listen to? Not to us. The only way there's everything going to happen is because you have done it every single day of the week.
I grew up in a company town. I worked real hard till that company closed down.
Good evening and welcome to TV Dinner. My name is Mel Braverman and I'll be moderating tonight's program, which has to do with elections, specifically money and elections. We have three guests with us tonight from the organization Clean Money, Clean Elections Monroe. And they're going to talk about elections and money, specifically the problems that we're facing today, a potential solution, and the strategy that they're going to use to enact the solution. Our first guest is Ed Scutt. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And so what is the problem with elections? They seem to be going okay.
For some people. Mel, the older I get, the more I become convinced that there is one issue in all elections on any level, and that issue is systemic campaign finance reform. I can't think of any other issue that is not potentially influenced by special interest money. You know, special interest money drives public policy today, and it influences who will be elected. A very few wealthy special interests give the overwhelming amount of money to campaigns. 1% of the people who give money to campaigns are these special interest, wealthy special interest people. So a lot of good people are really cut out of the process unless they have a way of getting big donations or they have independent wealth.
So don't people with good ideas, aren't people with good ideas able to put themselves forward as candidates?
If there's something they can offer the special interests. For example, in New York, it's against the law to buy drugs in bulk, and that's because of the pharmaceutical industry. Unless they have some connections to special interests that will enable them to get big donations, they can't get the money to run. Campaigns cost too much today. I was in a leadership weekend a couple of years ago for a small progressive party, and the state chairman of the board for that party was trying to convince me all weekend that we shouldn't be backing a particular candidate that we had already endorsed in our democratic process because that candidate could not raise enough money. They just cost too much. An assemblyman today, or assemblywoman, has to raise $250,000 for the New York State Assembly to be successful. A state senator has to raise $500,000 to be successful. And this is why incumbents have the overwhelming advantage because, well, in 1998 there was a study done and there were 211 seats, and one of them changed parties out of 211, and none of the incumbents lost. And so
once you're elected, you're almost assured If you can get elected that first time, you're almost assured of a lifetime job.
Well, it could be that way, but they spend a lot of their time raising money. They have to raise $1,000 for every day that the legislature is in session. So they're spending much of their time thinking about ways to raise money rather than using that same energy and time to talk to voters about things that are important to them.
So instead of spending time on the issues and on meeting with people, they're spending time with the special interests raising money.
That's right, and it's about getting elected again. And I believe a lot of people go into it thinking, well, first I have to get elected, then I can do the good things that I want to do. But then that business of getting elected again and the money you need to raise in order to do that starts becoming the issue in your life as a state assembly person or a state senator.
So I'm going to guess that the likelihood is that people who don't have easy access to money, which are most likely to be minorities and women who aren't in positions of power right now, are least likely to be able to raise the kind of money you're talking about, and therefore least likely to be able to get nominated and run an effective campaign.
Well, I think especially if they're newcomers, you are the minority in this world, because the incident I mentioned to you before, I was trying to be pressured to influence our chapter of this little party to get behind the African American candidate rather than the one that we had already endorsed, because both these candidates had already had some success as local politicians. So the real minority, I think, is the person who, for whatever reason, decides he wants to or she wants to get into the race and hasn't done it before. And they may be good people. I remember a person from a small town wanting to get on the town board for the endorsement of the small party who had never done it before. And he came to the interview, with grease under his fingernails because he had a body shop in this town. And he was so disgusted with the way the town board was running things in secret that he decided he had had enough and he wanted to get into it. But even he, in this small town, had to be really concerned about getting an endorsement that would in turn turn into cash so that he could run his campaign.
Is this the same for both of the major political parties, or is there a difference in?
I don't. Yes. In fact, this person I just told you about was not a member of the party that the smaller party usually endorses, because in New York you can have fusion voting. But he said, if I'm going to run for town board in this particular town, I have to be of that party. So it doesn't matter whether they're a Republican or a Demopublican.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a huge problem because it's all about it's all about the money. I think a local person on our public radio station often says, "Follow the money," and right now that seems to be the sad truth.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Ed. Appreciate it. We're going to take a little break now from our talking with our guests, and we're going to show a video. And the point of this video is that this isn't just a New York problem. This, in fact, is a problem that is going nationwide with the special interests and money, and 2 states have figured out a way to do something about that. So let's watch the video, and then we'll come back and talk some more with our guests.